A secret strategy has just leaked and could completely change the face of our franchise before Week 1. An important name from our roster is almost packed up, and his departure will free up $1 million space in the salary cap for an absurdly aggressive move on our defense. Who is the piece that the management is about to sacrifice? Hold on, as I will reveal his identity shortly, and the movements don't stop there. While this bomb is armed, NFL executives and scouts have confirmed what we already suspected. We have a true war tank shielding our offensive line, a monster that has just been ranked as the 5th best in the league at his position, a vital foundation to prevent our team from being trampled on the field this season. But pay close attention now. Having elite protection won't do any good if last year's tactical nightmare repeats itself. Everyone blamed only the health of our quarterback for the breakdown of the goals, but that's just what the media wants you to believe. The truth is that the problems in our offense run much deeper. There is a lethal flaw that could throw our entire rebuilding effort in the trash. It's a mistake that no one is discussing. And there's a key piece in this dark puzzle that I doubt you, even as the most fervent fan, have noticed. Like the video now, it's just one click, and it helps me a lot to continue exposing what really happens. The last time Payne was about to receive a contract extension, he had a breakout season in 2022. As a fan who follows every move, I know this was a special time, during which he nearly tripled his sack production from the previous year. With the arrival of 2026, Payne's original 4-year extension expires at the end of the season, and contract negotiations are not expected to begin before the contract's expiration. During his standout year in 2022, Payne recorded a personal best of 11.5 sacks, a total that took 3.5 years to achieve impressively. However, since that dominant performance, Payne's production has been virtually non-existent after being shifted to the left side of the nose tackle position. Where he achieved those great numbers, Payne was moved back to the right side, where his production dropped significantly. Payne has not managed to exceed 4 sacks in each of his last 3 seasons, and recorded only 8 pressures on the quarterback in 2025. At 29 years old, Payne's $27.9 million impact on the salary cap becomes an even greater concern. For the management, which is trying to bolster one of the worst defenses in the league compared to the previous year. Occupying 9.28% of Washington's salary cap space, he is the team's highest paid player by a considerable margin. Offensive tackle Sam Cosmi receives $2 million clearly. While age may be a concern for some, Payne has only missed 3 games due to injury and 1 suspension throughout his career. Possible suitors for Payne. The departure of Payne would free up a lot of space in the salary cap and allow defensive lineman Jer'Jon Newton, in his 3rd year in the league, to take on a considerably bigger role. It is unlikely that the Commanders will get anything better than a 4th-round pick for a veteran player entering the last year of his contract. But it is worth considering what a return package could offer for Payne. After acquiring Dexter Lawrence in a trade with the Giants, the Bengals are looking to restructure their defensive line rather than rebuild it after the departure of Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals could likely send a 5th or 6th round pick in the 2027 draft and safety Brian Cook in exchange for Payne. This would create depth in the secondary for Washington and allow Cincinnati to do what it can to try to stop Baltimore and Derrick Henry twice a year. Still in the rebuilding process, which has lasted for years, the Raiders are always on the lookout for new talent, and the presence of a veteran like Payne could be exactly what they need in the locker room significantly. They would have to adjust other contracts to absorb the impact on the salary cap that Payne would represent. But given the lack of stars on their defense, except for Max Crosby, the Raiders clearly need all the help they can get. Like the Raiders, the Chicago Bears also lack depth and strength on the defensive line. Reuniting with former Washington teammate Montez Sweat, Payne could make a noticeable difference from day one, as the Bears could present a stronger defensive line in 4-3 formations and allow their secondary to drop back, and let plays flow naturally considerably. Following the blockbuster trade that brought Laremy Tunsil to Washington, the accolades continue to come in for Tunsil consistently. Despite having missed the last 3 games of the season due to an oblique muscle injury, the former first-round draft pick has been a cornerstone of an offense that faced adversity, and constant changes on the offensive line, week after week, significantly. Underrated in my opinion, and bulletproof in both phases, said an NFC executive, he has an extra gear that the others don't, yet he is clearly violent. During the 14 games Tunsil played, he allowed only 4 sacks, resulting in a 91.5% success rate in pass blocking, according to Fowler. The penalties were a major concern for the veteran early in the year, but having been penalized just 5 times in 2025, compared to 19 the previous year, Tunsil proved he still has what it takes to protect his quarterback significantly. Laremy Tunsil is one of the best left tackles in the game, while Sam Cosmi is a proven force at right guard. Josh Connolly Jr. gives the Commanders the right tackle they need to complete the position, potentially forming part of a solid long-term foundation. Protecting the future offense, in 2026, the offensive linemen will need to be in sync as they learn a new system with David Blau clearly. With 6 running backs currently on the roster, it seems Washington will utilize a variety of players at that position, instead of a single starting running back to take on most of the responsibility. Division rival New York Giants selected Arvil Reese in the draft, and with Abdul Carter entering his second year, the pressure on the defensive line will be much lighter than what this group faced last year. However, the offensive line won't be the only one protecting Jayden Daniels this year considerably, thanks to the arrival of tight end Chig Okonkwo via free agency. Primarily a pass catcher, Okonkwo will free up John Bates and Ben Sinnott to focus on blocking in various formations with 12 and 22 players. Historic shoes to fill. Older generations of fans remember when Washington housed one of the most iconic and consistent offensive lines in the league clearly. Known as the Hogs, the group led Washington to 3 Super Bowl victories with 3 different quarterbacks. Joe Jacoby, Russ Grimm, Jeff Bostic, Mark May, and George Stark significantly. Grimm is currently the only Hall of Fame member, as fans have campaigned for years for Jacoby to join him in Canton, Ohio. A more recent generation, however, will clearly remember the iron wall that Trent Williams represented for the Burgundy and Gold team for 9 years. Missing out in 2019 due to medical issues, he earned Pro Bowl selections in 7 seasons. He was also named to the second All-Pro team in 2015. Williams was traded to San Francisco in 2020, where he received first-team All-Pro recognition in 2021, 2022, and 2023. In addition to being named to the second All-Pro team in 2025, considerably. And now, to wrap up with Jayden Daniels, you will understand why his health was not the only factor that kept him from reaching his goals. After leading Washington to its first NFC title game in 33 years, the Commanders were poised for another strong playoff run, led by the rising star Jayden Daniels considerably. It didn't take long for everything to crumble around the 2024 Offensive Rookie of the Year. In the Week 2 game against the Green Bay Packers, Daniels suffered a knee sprain and aggravated a chronic thigh issue, which kept him off the field until Week 5 clearly. An elbow injury, suffered in Week 9, bothered him again in Week 14, ending his season. Daniels ultimately missed a total of 10 games over the last season. And when he returned to play, he proved to be a shell of the player he once was. Time caught up to Washington considerably. His health was just a small part of a larger equation that explained why Washington's offense didn't take the field, with the same dominance and efficiency as the previous year, clearly. In 2024, the average age of Washington's offensive players was 23 years, whereas in 2025 it was 28 years. When Adam Peters and Dan Quinn arrived before the 2024 season, their expectations for the team's future did not match reality. Despite immediate success, the front office did not address the concerns that had been masked by the brilliance of Jayden Daniels considerably. The issues involving Zach Ertz, Noah Brown, and Austin Eckler that were already in decline remained unresolved for the 2025 season. Instead, the team signed Deebo Samuel, who had already passed his prime, and Chris Moore, who immediately became the oldest receiver on the roster upon joining the team. The magic of Jayden Daniels was over. In 2025, the Commanders utilized a formation with 11 players, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers, on 56% of their offensive plays clearly. There's nothing wrong with a system that allows players to feel comfortable, especially considering the roster changes caused by injuries. But former offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury prioritized little variety in his schemes. After a whole year of NFL videos featuring Jayden Daniels available, opposing defenses quickly learned to predict plays, from RPO pass options with planned runs for the quarterback or short passes through the middle considerably. Whenever Daniels, Marcus Mariota, or Josh Johnson lined up in the shotgun formation with only 1 running back in the backfield, and 3 wide receivers on the sidelines, it became much easier for defenses to predict where the ball would go as soon as it was thrown. Looking to the future, clearly. In 2026, the Commanders parted ways with Kingsbury and entrusted the future of the offense to rookie coordinator David Blau. Since being introduced as the offensive coordinator, Blau has made it clear that he is working with Dan Quinn so that Daniels plays more often as a quarterback and to create more diversity in plays considerably. The current roster, as it stands, is still full of uncertainties, with concerns about who will be the starting running back, how free agent Chig Okonkwo will fit into the offense, and how a group of wide receivers without big stars will perform against teams like Seattle, Philadelphia, and the Texans in a clear manner. So, fan, after discovering how a player from the Commanders might still be traded before Week 1 to free up cap space, understanding that Laramie Tunsil is considered the 5th best offensive lineman, and knowing that Jayden Daniels' health was not the only factor preventing him from reaching his goals in 2025, which of these situations makes you feel more hopeful? Do you believe the Commanders should really trade Darren Payne to free up salary cap space and bolster the defense? Or would it be smarter to keep him and try to regain his 2022 form? And more importantly, do you trust that David Blau will be able to create a more dynamic and diversified offense that allows Jayden Daniels to get back to his best football in 2026? Or are we doomed to see the team suffer again with predictable schemes and a lack of offensive creativity? Leave your opinion in the comments. I want to know what you think about the future of the Washington Commanders.